Is it actually live?
No.
You sure?
Positive.
How about now?
It is still not live. And if you ask me again in 5 minutes, it still will not be live.
But it says it's live.
It does. It does say live.
But there's nobody watching. Are you sure? It's like a tree falls in the wood thing.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. It's recording to YouTube, unlisted.
Okay.
So if someone was to guess the URL, they could watch this live.
Good luck.
Yeah. Because it's definitely not 6HX.
I should probably do an intro.
HAQSD. It's definitely not that.
I'm going to do an intro.
Do it.
What I changed it to the Guncast. The last one I didn't say that. I'll just fucking... Welcome back to the Gun Collective podcast. My name is Jon Patton, and boys and girls, I am on location here in the We Like Shooting Studios in Colorado with the man, the myth, the legend, Shawn Herrin. Hi, Shawn.
Hey, what's up, man?
I say like saying hi as if we weren't hanging out for the last 3 days.
Right, exactly. Hello again from also the last 3 days. Every minute.
I woke up in your guest bedroom.
Yeah, which is weird because he went to sleep in my bedroom. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know.
Yeah,
things are a little weird.
Yeah, it's Colorado.
So what I want to talk about with you today is the sort of resurrection of arguably one of the most important media outlets in the firearms industry in terms of podcasting, because as far as I'm aware, Firearms Radio Network is the only like grouping of gun podcasts, right? Like, am I missing something?
Yeah, there's actually a couple other networks.
So they just suck and I don't know about them, or?
Well, I don't want to say that they suck.
I just don't know about them.
You don't know about them. And like, I'm aware that they exist, but they're very niche. Like Firearms Radio Network, we try to encompass like a bunch of different things, but one of the networks is like self-defense kind of stuff. So it's all self-defense related podcasts on that network. And there are networks.
Okay.
I'm just not too familiar with them because
but FRN is bigger than that. Would you say?
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Okay, so
more shows.
Long story short, Firearms Radio Network has been around for a very long time. I don't know how long.
About a decade now.
About a decade. Yeah. So, when did you take over? So I knew there was like a transition. When did you take over?
5 years ago. I actually just got it.
Has it been 5 effing years?
I just got a Facebook memory. Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. 5 years. I had no idea it was that long ago.
Yeah.
So this will be even more fun because not only are we talking about you taking over, but you have been heavy working on this in recent times. So what was it like walking into, quote unquote, walking into FRN, like when you took it over? First of all, why?
Yeah,
so I think that's the way. Like, where else would we start? Why are you taking this over?
Well,
did you buy it?
Short story. So
okay,
the network has been run by Jake Challand, who created the network, and
Jake's awesome.
Yeah, Jake is awesome. Love that guy. But he worked really, really, really hard on the Firearms Radio Network for a long time, and it just, to be perfectly honest, like it didn't pay. Not just didn't pay, but really didn't pay for itself. And he was burned out.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I spent a lot of time for the OG TGC fans and fans of my old channel. I was on a show called This Week in Guns pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And I could see over time Jake getting more and more burned out on it.
It's a lot of work. So he just kind of had enough, and he messaged me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to buy the Firearms Radio Network?
I'll give you $50."
I was like, "Oh no, I don't want that." So I have this thing in my life.
You said no.
Oh yeah, I said absolutely not. I have this thing in my life where I don't want to do a thing. We like shooting. I said no. I didn't want to do a podcast. I wanted nothing to do with a podcast.
How long have you been making your living on?
Making my living, I think 6 years straight now.
Who's calling?
Let's see.
Take it live.
It is
spam likely.
Potential spam.
Yeah, that's fun.
Let me turn my ringer off.
Way to go, you piece of shit.
Yeah, it's almost as if I don't do this. So, yeah, we like shooting. I didn't want to do, but then I thought about it and I was like, hey, we can do it, but I want to do it my way because I listen to a bunch of podcasts, and I think that if we're professional from the get-go, which was obviously not what happened, but that's how it started. Anyway, he was kind of done with it. Do you want to buy it? Absolutely not. Don't want anything to do with that. Then I started sitting around and I was like, well, we're very independent from the Firearms Radio Network. I would never sign any contracts. I would never do anything. I was like, I'm running
So
my
you were
own
on
thing.
at that time you were on the network, but not glued to it.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, well, if I say no, he's going to sell it to somebody else. And if somebody else tries to boss me around, I'm leaving the network.
Okay.
And then I was like, but if I leave the network, I take a huge, we are the number one, we have been the number one show for a very long time. If I leave the network, I take a huge chunk of traffic and listeners with us.
So essentially you were concerned about killing the network.
I was worried about damaging the network, and I was worried about damaging the network for the other podcast hosts
who are also your buddies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you've known them for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was like, well, someone tries to come in and they try to like over commercialize it. It's going to like harm everybody.
Oh man, it would be so bad.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I was like, it's going to harm everybody. So I messaged Jake back and I said, hey, if it's not too late, sure. So we worked out all the details, did all the things, and that took about 16 minutes. And
how much did you pay for it?
I don't remember actually. Not much.
Not much. So what he means by that is $30 million. That was the deal. That was the deal.
Because I would have definitely
for something that wasn't paying.
I definitely would have been able to claim huge losses on my taxes.
The government's like, here, sorry.
Right. So is it too late? He said no. I said, I'll take it. He literally dropped that shit in my lap. And he was just like, here you go, buddy. Here's the keys. F off, I'm out of here. And like went to the keys or whatever. I don't know.
Doesn't he live in like Illinois?
One of the Dakotas, I think.
Oh, he moved. That's right.
Yeah.
He was in Illinois for a long time.
Yeah. So he just like literally just dropped the keys in my lap. I was like, what color is the car? He's like, new phone, who dis?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
You were just like kind of thrown to the wolves with that scenario.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I was bitter about it for a while. And I love Jake, but I was kind of angry.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there was like no turnover really. It was not
that just reinforces that he was burnt out.
He was burned out, man. And I understand, I support it. I was salty for a while, not at Jake, just at the situation.
Okay.
Because here's the thing is when I got FRN, so Jake didn't ever intend it to be what it was, right? He like listened to podcasts, he started a podcast, but he wasn't necessarily a tech dude.
Do you think it just got away from him?
Yeah. Well, you know how when you start to build something just out of wood and you really don't have a plan for it, and you're like, well, oh, but I need a door over here, so you do some things and you cut some stuff that maybe you shouldn't have cut, and it's not necessarily stable, but the door closes, so it's going to be okay for now. But then, oh man, well, I bump my head every time I stand up out of bed, so I need to raise this up. So you cut some stuff and you add some material, and then you do that, and you do that over and over and over again for 5 or 6 years, and eventually you just have like this.
You know what that sounds like to me?
What's that?
That sounds like the entirety of the Comcast billing system.
Yeah,
like I've seen it from the other side.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah, and I mean this
happens. I should say it was when I worked there.
Oh boy, it happens in like software stuff a lot, right? You have something
patch on patch on patch on patch.
Exactly. And that's what it was. So the infrastructure was set up in such a way that, you know, to support one show, certainly, but 5 shows, probably not.
Right.
And then because there was no tech there, you know, we had the website that feeds all the podcast feeds. And then there was this other website, totally completely separate, that did everything. So every time someone published a show, you had to publish it 2 different places.
How long would it take to publish a show? Like what was that like?
So it took hours.
Yeah. And what is it now?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. So you've reduced that. So I want to try and, because the tech side of it will bore the ever living piss out of everybody listening.
Yeah.
But I think the more important part is where you've kind of brought it to now. Because the transition clearly was terrible. You spent years. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
I did not realize, like, genuinely, we talk all the time. I had no idea that it was actually 5 years time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know, the first 3.5 years, I didn't do much, but just keep the ship from sinking.
Yeah, keep it from sinking.
Yeah. Like I would tighten the screws in the wood where I bumped my head all the time because they would constantly come loose because of the wind. And you know, I was just tightening the screws and just trying to keep everything from just absolutely sinking. And when I got FRN, the only money that it made previously was affiliate, but that was none of my affiliate accounts. So like basically I got it, and We Like Shooting supported Firearms Radio Network financially 100% for 4 years.
Wow.
FRN wouldn't exist anymore if WLS hadn't footed the bill.
That's from my perspective, that's gotta piss you off. Like that's gotta be a little frustrating to know that it was just riding on your coattails. Like the network itself was riding on your coattails, and then to have that sort of relief perhaps of taking it over and being able to go, you know what, I'm in control of this now. I will do this the way that I think is the right way. And so are you monetizing it now? Like, what are you doing for that?
Yeah. So I implemented ad rates for a bunch of different stuff. So like I leverage my connections and my relationships inside the industry that I've literally been building for a decade. Talk to companies.
So basically, long story short, you're selling ads on the other shows from the network.
Yeah, and all the shows have complete autonomy. They don't have to do anything. I approach them. I say, this is what I have. This is the product. This is what it pays. Would you like to do it?
That's kind of rad from a creator perspective. Like, hey, I'm offering you money. You don't have to take it if you don't agree with the company or whatever.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times you get tied into deals. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of times. Sometimes there are companies that try to force deals, and you're like, I don't want to do that at all.
Yeah.
F that.
Oh, yeah. No, there's never any force. In fact, I don't even inflict any pressure towards it. I'm like, this is what it is. Yeah, all I need is a yes or no, and I don't care, and I'll bring you the next one just fine. Like I give the shows 100% control over what they do, and I do not exert any pressure or force over that, because I know if anyone tried to do that to me, I would lose my crap.
Yeah, you'd be pissed off.
Yeah.
So you have taken it over. You're revamping it. Is this just like a complete one-man show at this point? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, you know what? That's not true anymore.
Well, you've got somebody that you brought on recently.
Yeah. So I hired Krista as our administrative assistant.
So does she work for FRN or
she works for
We Like Shooting?
WLS?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there delineation between that, or has We Like Shooting absorbed FRN?
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like WLS is all the business stuff is me.
It's the parent.
And I also do all of the FRN stuff. So like I just, there's no delineation. Just so I hired Krista. I told you that it was just basically just trying to keep the lights on for 4 years. I hired Krista, and immediately that freed me up to do a lot of things. So I've literally spent like the last 2 years, but especially the last year, focusing so hard on fixing all the systems and not just keeping the boat floating, but actually building a new boat and swapping it out while we're in the water.
That is a very good analogy.
Yeah,
that's a very good analogy.
It's honestly,
you're not trying to repair a boat. You're trying to build one and move things to the new boat.
Yeah. So it used to take me hours to add a new show to the network, which meant that I never added new shows to the network. And if I did, I was pissed off about it the whole time. honestly,
just resenting people,
which stinks, because there are a lot of good podcasts. And I dropped the ball and blew people off. But now I actually I do have that help, in that Krista helps take care of all that administrative stuff that I was dropping the ball on constantly, so that I can work on what my strengths are, which is architecting solutions and coming up with creative solutions to problems and things like that. That
sounded
my
so
strength.
Freaking corporate.
Yeah, it is. And that
was like the most corporate thing I've heard you say in we've been hanging out for like 3-4 days now. This is the most corporate bullshit you've said.
It's so true though.
I take the specs from the engineer or the customers and give them to the engineers. Right,
exactly. Except I'm a people person. I am the customer. I am the engineer, and I am also the middleman.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good place to be.
Yeah,
own the whole thing, right?
Yeah. So I've really worked on the last year, and honestly, like hiring Krista was what I consider to be one of my finest achievements.
Okay. I haven't met her yet. Is she going to be here? I got to leave soon.
No. She actually lives in another state.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
So she's remote.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wow.
100% remote.
So this is exciting. Hello, Cherry.
Hi.
Cherry's here, everybody. You guys probably can't see her, but
a little bit.
There we go. Yeah. There's Cherry, Sean's dog.
Yeah.
Hello, puppy. I love dogs. So you have sort of, for lack of a better term, rebirthed the network.
Yeah, and I also do want to go back a little bit. Like the network basically paid for itself when Jake was doing it, but once
there was a transitionary period where it kind of not failed, but almost
that paying for itself didn't make it through the transition.
I see.
For whatever reason. And honestly, there was so many things that I didn't even understand about the network for a year or two.
Like why things were done?
Yeah, why things were done, how things actually worked. Like the affiliate stuff. I didn't change that for a year and a half. And then I just took it out because I don't see that value there. Like I don't want to have Amazon ads on the website.
Why?
Just because that's what it was. If I'm going to have ads on the website, I want it to be like 2A companies in the 2A space doing 2A things.
Sure.
Screw Amazon. I don't want them.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that I never do Amazon affiliate stuff, but I don't want that to be the identity of the network. I don't want people to go there and see an ad
just nothing
for
but
batteries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't see the value there. So I didn't continue it. And the fact that we had to support it was my fault because I made that choice.
Okay. So that makes a little sense. So out of necessity or just the way it ended up being, you guys supported it. And now it's kind of entering this new era, at least as I see it. I've been one of the most inconsistent people in terms of podcasting. You know this firsthand. But we've tried to do like I always say we, but like really it's at least now, especially I've tried to do podcasts off and on for a long time, and seeing the rebirth of it is almost encouraging to me. Like, oh shit, this is a new thing. I can get in on this and maybe get myself together a little bit.
Dude, it's hard.
It's hard. Yeah. It's hard, especially when, our primary has always been video, and trying to add it on, much like you're dealing with sort of the opposite of it. I think it's really interesting. So what's the end goal? Like, what the hell are you trying to do?
Oh, I think the delivery person's here.
Delivery guy.
What's the end goal?
What's the end goal with FRN? Like, what the hell are you doing?
So what I really want to do, and what I've actually started doing now, I want Firearms Radio Network to be literally the be all end all for like outdoor industry podcasts. Like,
okay. So what do you to get there? What has to happen to be that?
So the number one thing was improving infrastructure,
which you've done.
I'm still in progress, but I am very, very close to being done.
Yeah. I mean, going from hours to upload, which is like, that's enough for me to not do it personally.
No, it was a pain in the butt. You had to do everything in 2 or 3 places. And so improving infrastructure, replacing the hull of the ship while we're in the water, and then just stepping into the new hull. That was the first step.
Okay.
Having that ability, very, very important. And we're even taking that further and another step. Like, honestly, the audio processing that I've just implemented, it's all automated. Like, you should
when you say audio processing, what do you mean? Like,
I mean,
makes it sound clearer,
removing noise, equalizing. If you and I were at kind of different volumes in the past, I've listened to podcasts on the network, and it was like we would be at different volumes, and I would be like blasting in their ears, and then you would be quiet, or you would be blasting and I would be quiet. Now it's going to be all normalized. Everything's all at the same level. So the audio processing is automatic, and it makes sure that you and I are speaking at the same level. Music would come in and maybe be too loud or not loud enough. Now,
oh my goodness, that exactly always pisses me off. You put on something and it's blaring, and then the dialogue is nothing.
Yeah.
TV shows are very, very good at that.
Yes. So doing all that audio processing, normalizing loudness, hiss, pop removal, all that stuff. Now,
so you got everything covered,
automated.
So is it even necessary to try and mix? I don't know if that matters to the audience.
Crap in, crap out.
Sure.
The better better your input is, the better your output will be.
Okay, good point.
So I think that it also allows me to put FRN bumpers at the beginning of the show. Hey, this is a production of the Firearms Radio Network. Thanks for listening. And then goes right into the show.
That's way easier for me.
Yeah, it's important.
Because I'm lazy.
To me, it's totally important.
Okay, so
these things.
That's one of the things you've implemented. So you change the infrastructure, audio processing,
infrastructure.
And now what's the third leg of that is payment, like making it monetized or figuring that out. We talked about that for a minute.
Yep. It's monetized. The Firearms Radio Network 100% pays for itself now. It pays for Krista to do the things that she does. So the next thing is growth, right? So I've improved.
So how do you grow a podcast? Because I don't know shit about that.
Growing a podcast is pretty easy. Be consistent and find people that love you.
But how do you find people? Like, what does that mean?
Well, there's people out there that millions,
like people that are
and
seeking out podcasts.
Yeah.
Is that what you're, so
Yeah.
try and connect with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So growth, not just of podcasts, but growth of the network, expansion of the network, I should say.
Oh, I see.
Bringing more
Okay.
podcasts to the network. Historically, I never did that because it was terrible. But now, not only does Krista handle that as I don't even know what to call her, like admin assistant for the network, but
Sure.
whatever. Doing that now, she onboards shows. So now I do the handshaking. Hey, that sounds good. Let's do that. This seems like it would be a great fit for the network. Here's Krista. She brings people onto the network. I don't think about it again.
That's pretty cool.
That's it.
So, what shows, or do you know off the top of your head, like some of your best shows? I shouldn't say that because that's not fair. But
yeah.
Like for the people listening that are into podcast or video podcasts or whatever, because everybody releases a video version, right?
No, not everybody actually.
I find that strange.
Yeah,
is that weird? Like I feel like in 2022, you're like obligated to do a video version as well.
Perhaps, but podcasts are very much very highly an audio thing, an audio product.
Sure.
But yeah,
all right, let's see. Just read off a few of them.
I mean, we've got the AR-15 podcast, the God and Guns podcast, Gun and Gear Review podcast, Handgun Radio. These are some of the stalwarts that have been around since the beginning. One of our newer shows that I brought onto the network is Long Range Tactics, hosted by Cole Kornberg. That one's pretty awesome. Prepping 2.0, Glenn Tate and Shelby Tate, amazing preppers.
How do you gauge a prepper? You said they're amazing preppers.
Yeah, well,
how do you know if they're
amazing that happen to be preppers?
They're so amazing at prepping. They prep the fuck out of this.
Exactly. Reloading podcast to
I'm gonna have
stalwart.
to censor this now.
Not my fault. I said shit earlier. But
yeah, I said shit. That's
This
fine.
Week in Guns. We've got all kinds of podcasts. One of that I actually really love is the Black Powder podcast.
What is that?
Brought him on, Marcus Matthews. Just a good dude doing content from a different space than me. Like, I'm a white dude, he's a black dude. I want both perspectives. I want every aspect of our culture embodied by the Firearms Radio Network.
Yeah, because firearms, like I said this, I actually caught crap about saying that guns belong to people that don't like the Second Amendment. I'm not saying this guy doesn't. My point is the Second Amendment belongs to every American.
Yeah.
And it's good that you're trying to bring in different voices from different perspectives.
Yeah.
I mean, you've kind of got a little bit of everything here. What, like, is there stuff that you want to add that's not here?
So I want to add,
like, what about a political show?
I would absolutely add a political show. I did add John Crump live recently.
Is that political?
It's more political than anything else, but
okay.
Yes, there's absolute room for a political show, a hunting show, an AK-47 show, a handgun modification show. Like, these are all areas that I keep an eye out. We have still Gun Girl Radio that exists. It was formerly hosted by Julie Golub, and who'd you say was the other one? I forget.
You said Randy Rhodes, and
Randy
before
Rogers.
Natalie, I can't remember her last name. Same. Even though I used to talk to her all the time.
Yeah, but it used
such
to
a shitty friend.
It was a great show. It's Firearms Radio Network owned. Nobody does it right now. Like, I need a very strong female voice in the 2A culture to come in and like take that over. It's like turnkey. You don't even have to start your own podcast. You get. Like,
are you pitching my audience right now?
Yeah,
you're pitching my audience.
What's up?
Hey, if you're a lady, why don't you call the Firearms Radio Network?
Exactly. Firearmsradio.net.
You piece of shit.
But yeah, like, there's so much room for it, and I don't want to be one of, you remember those old like repositories of stuff? It was like every single website that talks about X, Y, or Z, and then it would just be this huge list of things. That's not what I want. I try not to add shows that conflict with other shows. I try to add different niches.
That's a word that I don't appreciate that everybody has been using because of the way social media has gone.
Yeah.
And I don't like it because there's not a clear pronunciation on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like GIFs.
Niche.
Yeah.
Niche.
Niche.
Nobody says it niche.
Nietzsche, I think. Is what
That's
we're
there we go.
here. Yeah.
I'm in a very specific niche.
But
it's
yeah.
May, right? Not meme.
Yes. May's, GIFs, and Nietzsche's.
I remember that I had an argument with somebody about the GIF thing. And they're like, well, the guy that made it says GIF. And I was like, well, fuck him.
Yeah, he is obviously a moron.
He's wrong about his own thing.
I don't care what he calls it. It's also 223 Wildy.
No.
It most certainly is.
On what planet is that Wildy?
You literally, it's his last name.
I don't care.
And it's Wildy.
That's like people that say Janik instead of Kanik.
Microwave.
That's accurate.
Yeah, Bill Wildy says microwave.
Who?
Exactly.
Is that really his name?
I think so.
Bill Wildy. That is such a gun industry name.
I know. Bill Will D.
Why is there so many Bills in the gun industry? Like old heads in the gun industry there's a lot of Bill.
I can think of like 3 or 4 right off the top of my head without even trying.
Right. There's a Bill.
William, get over here.
William.
I want the William podcast.
You need those. Yeah, there's plenty of room. So if your name is William and you're a gun guy, call Shawn.
Yeah. So
incessantly.
The third leg is expansion.
Okay.
And the fourth leg is continued monetization without being
overly aggressive. So arguably stability.
Yes.
Bringing stability with the growth.
Yes. And we've got some great advertisers on FRN now. We like Primary Arms is basically our title advertiser. They're the biggest advertiser on Firearms Radio Network. So we got Primary Arms, like VZ Grips, and 2 or 3 others that I'm actually in the works on right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So I want to try.
And Patriot Patch Company, of course.
Yeah, Patriot Patch. Jake also runs that company. Is that public?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know.
Yeah, Jake and Ryan do a great job over there. And honestly, I love Jake. Genuinely in every way. He started all of this, and none of this WLS, none of it would exist had Jake not.
Did Jake push you to do WLS?
No. So Savage on our show, actually, we used to have a weekly meeting where we just get together and video chat and shoot the crap about.
So you just said we're going to record this?
Basically, he recorded it behind our backs and sent it to Jake. And Jake said, this might work. Send me an actual pilot. Savage came back. I was like, hell no, I don't want anything to do with that. Thought about it. Said, maybe I will, but we have to do it my way. And then we sent the pilot. Jake said yes.
Have you always been the guy in charge?
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Yeah, because I mean, the website welikeshooting.com started because I wanted a place to put. I was just getting into guns and I wanted to post pictures of my guns, and I was a web developer.
So if somebody was out there right now trying to do a podcast, what would you tell them? Like a gun related or outdoor related podcast? Because from my perspective, there are a lot of channels that I've done consulting work with, like a bunch, and they put out long form videos alongside short form videos. And I say, get that shit off your channel. It's a boat anchor.
Yes.
Literally, that's the phrasing that I've used. Get that off of your channel. It will hurt your channel. Some people have listened to me. Some have not. There's these like gun chats that people do, which are fucking god awful.
Yeah, they're pretty
just
awful.
Horrendous types of content.
Yep.
They just sit around, stare at a screen, and just like talk.
Yeah.
That's like the worst kind of thing. It's not a podcast.
No, it's.
But that's where people's minds go when it comes to our industry and our circles of like I'm making long form live content.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell people to do? Like if you wanted to start a gun podcast right now?
Oh yeah. I get this question a ton. I'm pretty practiced in my answer. First, I want to delineate the difference between video content and podcast content. YouTube people are not podcast people. They can be, but they're not. It's 2 separate audiences. So if you're doing video content in the gun sphere and you're not doing a podcast, you're A, screwing up, you're B, leaving money on the table, and you're C, doing yourself a disservice, because obviously you want your content to be consumed by as many people as possible. And because podcast people are so different from YouTube consumers, like you are just missing this whole area. So for someone to start a podcast right now, I would say the most important thing, the easiest thing, is to have quality content. And I don't mean,
what does that mean to you?
I don't mean you have to be interesting. I mean, you have to have
that helps
quality in your audio. And it is so easy now to do. You can order a lav mic off
it's
of
one
Amazon,
of the easiest things to do,
and literally plug it into your phone and record your podcast on your phone. If that's what you want to do, you can do it. It's easy. The microphone needs to be in front of your face, minimize background noises, and then just talk. All right.
What would you say this setup here costs that we're using?
Oh, $700.
No, but there's microphones, there's cameras, there's lights.
$500
all in.
$500, $100, $100, lights $200, my monitors maybe $400, and I have a pretty nice setup as far as podcast stuff goes. But you can get this mic and my board that I run right here for $600.
And you, at this point, you almost don't need that board. If you're like a solo act or something like that, you don't really need the multi-channel. It helps, and you've got a lot of extras with this.
But this is the best all-around solution because it's got your sounds, it's got mixing. I can bring phone calls in.
That's
via
something I
Bluetooth.
think would be a lot of fun, is a call-in show.
We do them on We Like Shooting maybe about once a quarter.
Okay.
So yes, getting your audio is very, very 100% important. It has to be right. From there, the next most important thing is consistency. Now, YouTube is about throwing a video into the wild and hoping that it does well.
Okay.
Right? Like, you can comment back and forth on some people. Everyone says the comments are cancer. There's not a lot of interaction on YouTube. Podcasting is about community. Podcasting is about, and it's because of the intimate delivery mechanism, I think, of podcasting.
What, like when you're whispering in people's ears?
Right now,
and
I am
telling
whispering.
A story.
I've got low timbre in my voice. People hear that because they're listening in headphones. They're listening in their car. They're working out while they listen to this. They're driving a truck. They're mowing their lawn. They're doing all those things. When people watch YouTube, they're taking a shit.
Are you saying that people poop while they watch my videos?
Absolutely.
They have told me that many times, by the way.
Absolutely. When people listen to podcasts, they're usually actively doing something else, something mindless, where they listen to the podcast to help them get through it. But
that's how I was across when I drove.
Yeah.
So I'm 20 some hours from where we're sitting. We're in Colorado Springs right now. And Colospigs on all the signs. I live on the East Coast, and that drive got to be, I started with music, and then I was like, I need something to occupy my brain a little bit more.
Right.
And I started listening to like comedy podcasts because that's who I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get your point. That delivery mechanism.
Yeah, because I'm whispering in their ear, right? Like they hear me directly right in the ear. And there's something about that. Now, if you don't do a YouTube video for a week, you may get a message or two. If we missed our podcast for the week, I would be inundated. People would be mad because they plan their lives around podcasts. No one plans their lives around YouTube releases.
So what do you mean by that? Like they're like anticipating this so that they have something new to listen to while they're doing X every week?
Tuesday morning on the drive to work, I listen to We Like Shooting. If that podcast is not there, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with my life.
Your life falls apart.
Right. And I say that as I take that as the ultimate compliment because I am the same way, right? Like if automatically my phone automatically downloads this podcast every single time and I can play it whether I'm in the middle of nowhere or in the middle of a city, like that's important to me, and that consistency. So
yeah, that's something that I horribly failed at, that consistency, because there was a time when Adam and I were doing our podcast when Adam still worked with me, for me, whatever. Yeah. And we were hammering it out every week. And then we just, for whatever reason, it fell off. And I definitely got like, hey, where's the pot? When's that coming back? Bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
you know, that was never enough for me to actually get my shit together. But
oh yeah, I mean, you don't have to listen, but you'll definitely get the messages. So audio quality, consistency is absolutely important. Inconsistency will kill podcasts easier than anything else.
Ask me how I know.
Dude, it's rough, right?
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so kids, let's keep on. What's the next thing?
Audio quality, consistency, and community. I very much operate off of I would rather have 10 rabid listeners than 10,000 passive.
Okay.
Because those 10 rabid ones, like that's who I'm talking to.
It's a stronger community than people that are passerby.
Yeah. On YouTube, you get a lot of passerby stuff. You have some brand loyalty. You have some people who just absolutely love your videos. On podcasts, because of that intimate delivery mechanism, we're friends. We're buddies. They're hanging out at this table with us right now. They're sitting right there, and they are part of this conversation, and they talk to their radio, and they say that we're stupid when we don't know the answer to something because they clearly know the answer to that thing. And how could we not know this? And
how do you not know that thing I just learned last week?
Exactly. And they're sitting here with us. In YouTube, it's very infrequent to feel like you are a part of that. And because of that, building your community and engaging with people is one of the most important features of podcasting. And whenever I do talks on podcasting at events and things like that, it's also a talk about community building, because if you don't build that podcast community, if they don't feel like they are part of this thing, I just don't think that it will work. So whatever that means, whether it means having a Discord server or a private group somewhere and just like being available and putting effort into those relationships. Like, I'm not saying go to their Thanksgiving, I'm saying talk to people,
weird.
care about what they say.
Sure. I think that care about what they say thing matters across all content. It's
True.
just different. I genuinely look at our comment section as a pool of answers rather than a series of individual answers.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, because it's with our videos, it's tough to read them all because we fortunately have a decent engagement in that way. And I'm like, you know what, man, I need to look at this as a totality rather than individuals, especially because when you look at it as individuals, you get sucked in.
Yeah.
You start to go, well, F this guy, or this guy's gave me a compliment, so I feel better because I got that dopamine.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting that this network is it's 2022. Podcasts have been around a while. They're growing now still.
Oh yeah, podcasts are skyrocketing.
I see, like I mentioned, the comedy podcast you saw when we were riding in the car yesterday, the list of all of these comedians that are literally, it's just like a circular thing. Like they'll go do each other's podcasts when they're in each other's towns.
Yeah.
And all they do is sit and tell stories. And I think that's fascinating to observe because we can learn from that.
Right. But you also do, you absolutely feel like you're sitting at that table hearing that story. Like they're telling you the story face to face, like we're doing right now.
Right.
Like that to me is the magic of podcasts. And yeah, it's like nothing I've ever done. And I'm so happy to be a part of it because those stories, I was thinking about it, like this is out there forever. Like my voice is going to be out there forever. And that's pretty cool.
That's neat.
Yeah.
It's neat because you can't guarantee that about videos because it's controlled by somebody else. But if you control where this goes,
and they get
perpetuity
downloaded to people's phones. Like a lot of people.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But yeah, these files will exist forever. And that's pretty cool.
Have you ever gone back and listened to your first podcast?
Oh yeah.
How bad is it?
Oh, it's
like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really, really good. It's 1 being awful.
Quality, a 2.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think the magic of WLS is that although we've grown as human beings, we're still the same assholes.
You know what I find interesting about your show is that it has always felt like there's this underlying, like I've seen the behind the scenes. I've been part of the, literally we sat here the other night and did 2 shows.
Yeah.
Was it like 3 hours we sat here?
Yep.
So for 3 hours, we did 2 different shows and I saw the back end and I see the organization and how it's all supposed to work together.
Yeah.
But it's like watching a train wreck happen or being part of a train wreck. And it's almost intentional.
But you're in a force field and like everything's just crumbling around you and you're like, everything's fine.
Yeah. Like it's very interesting in that way, how you've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
Like literal years.
And that's the thing is WLS feels like a train wreck, but it is all orchestrated, choreographed, and organized.
And to be fair, it's not like the train wreck is the orchestrated part. The content is the orchestrated part. The personalities bring their own level of train wreck, their own seasoning on that.
Yeah.
And you've got a really interesting crew of people. For those that may not know, because we're doing primarily video stuff.
Yeah.
What can you talk about your guys? Like how you've arrived at your current cast?
So the current cast is the cast we started with.
So everybody that was added later is now gone?
Yeah, we've only ever added 2 other people. 3 other people. Well, 2 people and a harpy. So yeah, we had a dude.
What episode can they hear that story on?
Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno.
The succubus, is it an accurate term?
Something like that. Yeah. So we had a wonderful woman named Lil that was on the show, and
Lil was great.
Her life got busy, but we are still very close, and there's a lot of like love there.
Sure.
We had a dude named Rody that was on in the very beginning.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Very inconsistent, like just couldn't be there, and I just moved on.
Like
without
him.
Bro,
bye.
Yeah. Which, that's always tough to do. But he was kind of just like an add-on, never really part of the core cast. But the core cast of Aaron Krieger, Jeremy Posderick, Nick Lynch, and Savage 1R is the exact same that it has been since day one.
Why doesn't Savage say his real name? Everybody else does. Why does he not?
Just career.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is he, like a principal or something?
No, but does work for a very
it's like high profile stuff
yeah,
outside
higher education and everything that comes along with.
Sure. Yeah, definitely being a part of the Second Amendment community is frowned on in
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes. So yeah, the cast that we came, like it was me and then Aaron, and we were both getting into guns together at the same time. And then literally we realized, hey, this is a ton of work. If we want to actually do any more of this and have other people post stuff for us, we need to go find people. So we literally went to Reddit and found either the biggest assholes or just people that sounded like they sounded like they knew what they were talking about, and invited them to the show. And we have been together for a decade.
Wow. I mean, it's a really unique group of people that
Yeah.
nobody is the same. They all kind of have their own niche within the cast here. I think it's kind of fascinating. You know, like Jeremy is very much an ogre of a human being.
Oh yeah, 6'8", wingspan of 737.
That's a good description. And what's fun for me is, like, I know he's a teddy bear inside, but he lets off this like, I'm so angry at everything.
No, he really he really is angry at everything.
Yeah.
But if Jeremy loves you, no, let me rephrase that. Jeremy feels no love. If Jeremy tolerates you, like,
so I'm tolerated. Is that why I know? Yeah.
He's a human being if he tolerates you.
So, Aaron, what role would you say that Aaron fills?
You know, honestly, the lack of shame and regret and guilt that normal people feel in their lifetime is not something that Aaron has ever felt or enjoyed. So
okay.
When we first started, like, I didn't know how to do anything. None of us knew how to do anything. I came into the gun industry. I was like, I guess I just buy all my stuff and then I'll review it, and I guess that's the entire plan. I had no idea of anything, but Aaron was like, I bet that we can get companies to send us stuff. And I was like, I highly doubt that. And then
that happened.
So he would just like cold call. He would just like reach out to people and be like, hey, we do this. We've got this little website. We want to review your product. Will you send it to us? And people said, sure. And other people said, hell no. And other people ignored him. And the hell no and the ignoring part, I would like never be able to live with that back in the day, because I would just be like, yeah, you were
emotionally invested.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I clearly don't. They also apparently know. So I'm not going to be able to do that. So Aaron having that ability to like take that rejection and not internalize it at all was amazing. Aaron now publishes the shows, and he brings a differing perspective from a lot of us, because I think we start to live in an echo chamber, and Aaron's value
absolutely
is that he is incapable of complex thought. No, I'm just kidding. Aaron. No, his value is that he comes at it from a different perspective, because I would say out of all of us that he is not liberal by any means. But I would say,
do you think he's like, maybe the way to explain Aaron is that he is capable of liberal thought?
Yes.
Unlike some folks in our communities.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, he and I both grew up on welfare. I saw it from the perspective of, I see all these people driving Mercedes to the food stamp office, and we're driving a shitbox panel that's going to explode if we get rear-ended. So I grew up with a grudge against the welfare culture in this country, whereas Aaron wouldn't have been able to survive without it.
I see.
So he's got that. I think he still comes from that mentality of like, welfare takes care of people, and I'm like, welfare is abused by criminals.
So both things are true.
Yeah,
it's just totally different core values and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what about the other guys?
So Savage is like, he's basically our political commentator. He's very involved in Reddit and like politics, and that's stuff that he cares about, and I don't care about at all. So he brings that. He talks about it because I think it's important for, people to be educated on the stuff. We talk about it. He summarizes, editorializes, and then we go to the cast for comments. That's how it's supposed to work. It never works that way, but he is that guy. Nick is he's a younger dude, and he's worked at some very cool companies. Like, he worked at Proof Research. Okay. A lot of his rifle builds have been on covers of magazines.
No shit.
Working for Proof. Like, he's a very technically smart guy in all of these things, and he's just really good at that. Has a ton of gun knowledge. Jeremy also is another font of absolute just weird knowledge of everything. And yeah, that's WLS the crew.
I like it, man. Honestly, I've known you for so damn long. It's fun to hear you talking about them like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know when we met. I don't remember how we met. I really don't. I wish I did.
I don't either, actually.
I really don't know. I really don't, because I would almost have to like look back through my emails or messages or something, because it's got to be there. There's got to be some initial contact. I just don't remember. And you and I just kind of became buddies. At some point along the way, and I think it's pretty neat.
I don't remember that at all. Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, we're like it just happened.
We probably just met at an event, and we were like, "Hey, you're kind of an asshole. I'm kind of an asshole. We're both
you
smart
call me
asses."
an asshole?
Yeah,
fuck you.
It's true though.
It is.
Everyone knows it.
It is.
Yeah, it is known.
You know what's funny? I have been asked like, what do you do for a living? You know, outside of our circles, and I say I make fun of people's hard work on the internet.
That's pretty good.
That's accurate.
Yeah. Whenever anyone asks me, I just say that I actually get paid to curse a lot.
That is also accurate.
Yeah.
Especially now that you no longer do a censored version of the show. You did away with that. It's uncensored all the time, always.
You know what was funny is Jake always required censoring. So I was paying an editor to bleep out all the profanity in our show.
Okay.
For years. So then I took over the network 5 years ago.
And you're like, I don't have to do this.
No, I just did this like a couple of months ago. I was like, wait a minute. Why am I spending so much money editing shows? Like when I allow and encourage profanity, because we're all grown people and we can decide what we want to.
I'm a grown ass man, dog.
What we don't want to listen to. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. WLS is now fully uncensored. I was like, Rogan and like all these dudes, they cuss as much as they want. Why are we still doing this and paying for this? I was just like still living by the old rules, even though now I make the rules.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you've allowed that freedom for yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I was pretty happy with my boss that day.
So what's next? What's like the immediate next step? We had talked about adding stuff that's outside of the gun space to the network. Mm-hmm. What are you trying to do? Like you said earlier about hunting and stuff like that. Like what are you trying to soak in here? What's coming?
Yeah, I think honestly that it's all of those things. It's anything outdoors, anything freedom, anything that's just like people living their best life outside that have similar. No, they don't even have to have similar politics as me. Like I just want freedom people.
So people that understand what freedom actually is.
Yeah, or
what it means.
Or at least can talk about it. At least can eloquently say, I think that's what it is, right? Like
would you ever bring on somebody that's like ultra liberal?
Yes, because I think that everyone is important to hear from and people have the choice to listen or not to listen.
Okay.
As long as they fully supported the Second Amendment and no restrictions on it.
I feel like that's almost an oxymoron these days because people have been so divided.
Well, then they can eat a dick because this network is about freedom.
I like it. So you and I talked about this. I don't think we've talked about this on the show so far. I don't think we talked about this. I'm in town. The core reason for me being in Colorado is Overland Expo. I started a new van-related, travel-related Overland. I don't even know what to call it because it's kind of I'm trying to find my way with it, but it's about being outside and doing stuff.
Yeah.
And you and I share that enjoyment. Like yesterday, for those that are going to be listening, watching, Shawn and I went to two different brands that have some really sort of like bug out vehicles, just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It was Wolf Rigs and their Patton, which you guys need. I mean, there's going to be videos on the channel that's called Jon Patton. So Shawn went with me to Wolf Rigs and Wanderbox.
Yep.
We saw some overlanding stuff. Shawn's like, I don't know why I'm not making content like this. So is that something you personally think you'll be hosting? Or are you going to bring in people to like host the overlanding stuff? Like, is that going to matter to you?
Oh, no. Like,
no, it's not going to matter, or what?
No, I'm not going to. I'm not saying that I won't do a podcast about that stuff, but if I was bringing one to the network, it absolutely would not be hosted by me. Like, I have enough of my voice out there. Like, I don't want my voice to be out there anymore.
You also don't need to be the network.
Yeah, I don't. Exactly. I don't want to be the network. I don't need to be the network. I've pulled back from every show that I do outside WLS because WLS is my passion And honestly, like this weekend guns, I love Matt LaRosiere. I hate talking about the news. Like I despise it. I don't care about it. I don't want to talk about it. And that's just the way it is. Like that's who I am. Like I pay attention to politics.
That's who I am,
and
and that's who I care about.
Yeah, exactly.
I make car parts for the American working man.
Yes.
That was a bad Dan Aykroyd. That was bad.
So no, I definitely will not be hosting if we bring one in. I mean, we do have the off-road podcast, but like we need.
What is? I've never listened to that. What is that?
It's like off-roading XJs and like just like rock climbing.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Should I listen to it?
If you like that kind of stuff, you should.
It would be really weird if you shit on them.
No, like if you like that kind of thing, you'll be interested.
Okay.
Are there bad podcasts on the network? Sure, absolutely.
Damn, you're on notice. Get your shit together.
Yeah, 24 of you. If you think it's you, it's probably you. So yeah.
Okay, so overlanding is going to be a thing. You just don't have the road mapped just yet.
Yeah. So two things. Is there room on the network for this kind of content? Hell yes, absolutely, without question. Second, you asked if I'm going to start doing content like this. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this. Like I've literally been prepping for it. Kind of just.
You have a bunch of vehicles.
Yeah, I've got a Sprinter van, an RV. I've got the XJ now to do the rock crawling. I literally have the channel and everything that I got like a year and a half ago. Everything.
So
I've got
you're
all
ready.
the names.
You just got to pull the trigger on it, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't done it, but I get very excited about things, and I'll be perfectly honest, and I'll just share this with them and you at the same time.
Oh boy.
Like you have started doing this thing. Like Hank started doing this thing a while ago. Hank Strange, he's doing that kind of thing.
What's funny is I didn't know because Hank and I are not close.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, and I was like, what's this Stranger Palooza? I pop it on. I went, holy shit, it's Hank Strange.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, and then you've started doing this and being with you yesterday and like seeing all this cool stuff. And I was like, we talked about it on the way back. I was like, it's kind of freeing because I actually don't care about it. And it's not that I don't care about it in general. It's that I have no emotional tie to being successful in that space because I'm not in that space. Once I get in there, I have to win, because that's just my personality. Win. So yesterday I was like, man, I got all this stuff. I'm ready to do this. I just need to pull the trigger. I need to do it. And then I get home and I'm like, no, like
you're tired.
John is starting in this right now. If I start in this also, then like, I don't want.
Do you feel like you're a copycat at that point? But you're not. I told you this yesterday.
I know.
So Sean's like, oh, I don't want to step on your toes. I'm like, you're not fucking stepping. You said it like 6 times. You're not stepping on my fucking toes. I invited you.
I took pictures and I would like airdrop them to him so he could publish them because I'm like, I don't need to be copying what you're doing.
Not. You're doing your version. Even if we're looking at the exact same thing, making the exact same like core content, I think it would be different.
Yeah, I agree.
You and I don't look at life the exact same way because you're not me and I'm not you.
Yeah.
And I think personally, there's a ton of room for folks like you and I that are not as West Coasty chill. Like I'm not a chill person. I'm not.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I'm high strung in a lot of ways and my brain is just different than like there's a lot of really, really good, cool guy content. And I told I was hanging out with Talon and Mike from Last Line of Defense, and those guys cover that cool guy stuff.
Yeah.
Like they are just freaking cool.
Yes.
And I am the opposite.
Same.
I am not cool.
Yeah.
But I like to have fun and I like to be a smartass. And I think there's a lot of space in that realm to grow and be like, yeah.
No, it's good. But to just reiterate the original question, there is absolutely room on the Firearms Radio Network for this kind of content. And in fact, it is an area that absolutely needs to be represented.
So if you know what you're talking about in overlanding and you happen to catch this,
I think the Jon Patton YouTube channel should actually do a podcast on his adventures.
It would have to be a different channel.
Yes.
We talked about this at the beginning. It would have to be a different channel.
Dude, you don't have to release it as a video. You release it as an audio podcast. You
know what? I actually wanted to make a little studio like as part of the van to film and record podcasts in.
Yeah. Bro,
because there's so many people that you could bring in from that industry that have really interesting stories and interview them and whatnot.
My van literally it has been purchased to be a podcast studio.
A mobile pod. Yeah. You know who has that? Actually, Steve-O.
Oh, really?
Steve-O's wild ride is him in a Sprinter van and around with buddies. Like somebody is sitting in the front seat turned around, like the producer.
Yeah.
Like we'll pull it up. Like it's actually really cool. He's
that's awesome.
literally riding around the country interviewing people from inside a van.
That's cool. Yeah, I definitely not an original idea for me, but
No.
I'm like, if I'm going to be on the road, I need to be able to do the thing that puts hamburgers on my table, right?
Hamburgers?
Yeah, because
like not cheeseburgers, hamburgers.
Well, cheeseburgers, bacon cheeseburgers, if we're going to be really exact about it. I just didn't want to offend people who are lactose intolerant.
How do people really get that offended?
No, I'm not the people that I talk to.
How dare you talk about cheese?
Yeah, no, I just said hamburger.
You're a hamburger.
We've eaten a lot of hamburgers.
Sick burn.
Burn.
What was the name of that place you took me to? Should we share it, or you want to keep it to yourself?
Oh no. Felipe's 109 in Colorado Springs.
Felipe's 109 in Colorado Springs is bomb.com.
Yep.
Holy crap, that was good.
It was a food truck that became like a little, they took over an old Arby's building.
And it is in Jankville, USA.
Dead ass hood, and that's how you know the food's good.
Yeah, it was fucking good though. It was fucking good. So is there anything like I feel like we kind of hit all the points of podcasting and all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and actually, there was 4 things. There was quality.
Oh, there was a 4th?
Quality, consistency, community,
and then you said growth
and storytelling.
Storytelling. Holy
podcasting
fuck,
is storytelling. Let me just break down the story. You've seen like Supernatural and shows like that, right?
I'm aware of
the X-Files.
I've never watched an episode of the X-Files.
All right, so in the X-Files, there's several different things happening every single week, right? So there is the Smoking Man, which is this ongoing, like dark storyline.
So is that the thing that ties all the episodes together?
That spans every episode of every season, right? Sometimes they resolve these big storylines and plot points, but then also there is the monster of the week, right? Whatever that episode is, there's the monster of the week with the overarching storyline that may or may not be related. We Like Shooting follows this exact formula.
Okay, explain this to me, because I don't think I'm tracking.
We Like Shooting is the story of a bunch of guys who get together, hang out, and have fun, and like to shoot.
So
guns.
Is that your Smoking Man?
That is our Smoking Man.
Okay.
Our monster of the week is our personal journeys as we've gone through this. When we first started this, I didn't really know anything. Throughout the years, I've become a competitor, an instructor. I've been able to spend time being a part of a cadre of instructors teaching military police at the 759th Battalion at Fort Carson for an entire year.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it was my journey as an instructor. I then got interested in medical and took just so much education and became a medical instructor, certified in like 3 separate disciplines. And I teach those all over. Aaron, nope. Like Jeremy, he went from owning a tiny little gun shop to owning a big indoor range. That's that storyline progression. And then our monster of the week is like the guns, the drama, the news, the intrigue, and all that stuff. So it's all these tales of personal growth with the overarching storyline of just us hanging out, being who we are, and telling stories about what we do.
And that's for those that are trying to understand. That is how We Like Shooting has remained a successful business for you.
Yeah, because we have grown.
You've built a really, really strong community. And I'll point out something. I don't know that I've ever talked to you about this, but every time we do an event. So the TGC panel is my number one thing that we've done, where you're on the panel, you tell your audience about it. I can always tell 100% who is there to see you guys.
Yeah.
Like it's a specific type of person, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
You have a specific type of person, and they always give you guys shit. Yeah. It is constant, and it's really funny. But what that says to me is that they feel like they're part of your community. Yeah. They give a shit about you guys enough to give you crap.
Yeah. When you announce my name at the panel, like our dudes like lose their shit.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
And it's usually booze and like episode 171.
Exactly. And
that sort of thing.
I love that so much.
Yeah. They call out episode numbers. Like that's. And how long ago was 171?
5-6 years ago.
5-6 years ago, and people are still on that.
Do you know what my FFL is called?
I know what it's called. Yeah. Why don't you tell the audience what it's called?
171 LLC.
Why is it called 171 LLC? Why is 171 so special?
Oh yeah, because I just got blackout drunk on whiskey, and it was just absolute meltdown of epic proportions publicly.
I've never listened to it. I don't want to lose faith in you as a person.
Don't do it. It's terrible.
Well, I
It's awful.
think that's what it takes to do a podcast. I'm excited to see where the network goes. Maybe one day I'll get my shit together and be consistent about podcasting within the gun space again.
Yeah.
I interviewed Twista not long ago. Twista's super cool, and I interviewed Dudley Brown from
National Association for Gun Rights.
Yeah. I interviewed Dudley. That was interesting. We talked about because they're always asking for money, and I put him on the hot seat and said, "What are you doing with this money?" And he gave some answers. And I encourage you to go listen to that and form your own opinions. I will not tell you mine. And now we're talking hey, that's three in a month.
3 podcasts. See, it's happening.
Oh, it's happening.
It's happening.
Maybe we'll actually do it some more.
Sorry.
Sean's having. You all right there, fella?
Yeah, I was trying not to cough directly at you, but the cough snuck up on me. So
I appreciate that you're not coughing on me.
Yeah.
It's funny because the camera doesn't really show. We look like we're maybe a couple. We are touching,
literally touching.
Yeah, this is. Yep.
I don't
mind it.
No, I'm not. I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it. Well, thank you for letting me bogard your studio for a little bit.
Glad to.
I'm pumped to have spent we never get to hang out for any extended period of time. So it's been fucking awesome.
It really has. So, and that's the thing. We spend a lot of time together at events and stuff, but it's always so fleeting, right? We'll hang out, we'll shoot the breeze, we'll catch up on personal lives, we'll do the stuff, we'll high five, we'll give each other hugs when we leave.
Bye.
And then it's see you the next morning, and we go to the event and we do the thing. This has actually been our first chance to just cohabitate with each other
a decade.
Yeah.
Because I started the Chaos channel in 2011, I think. And I didn't really know anybody until 12 or 13, but still I've been at it a while. You've been at it a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man.
It's been great. So it's always weird to have friends, but when you actually get to spend every minute of the day pretty much with them and see is this friendship real, or are we just better as acquaintances?
Yeah. And we realized this trip that we are team same guy.
Yeah.
I have a few people that are just like that.
Yeah.
Was almost the same person, very similar viewpoints and stuff.
Definitely. It's good. It's been great. It's been awesome.
Don't bullshit me, Sean.
No, it's been awesome.
Fucking bullshit me.
It's been awesome.
Want them hamburgers.
Get them hamburgers.
I'm gonna get them hamburgers.
I don't even know what to say about that.
You ever seen what the fuck is it? Not Strong Bed, Homestar Runner.
Yeah.
You remember that? Homestar Runner?
Absolutely.
Homestar 1-0.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh god.
Old internet stuff.
So much. Yeah, I watched that stuff religiously.
We did not install the light switch so you could throw light switch raves.
Trogdor, man.
Trogdor the Burninator.
Yep.
This is devolving. Okay, guys. Thank you for giving a shit and tuning in. It's been awesome. I really genuinely appreciate you guys being here and listening to me and Sean. We talked about it a bunch. WeLikeShooting.com.
Yeah, you can find We Like Shooting everywhere. WeLikeShooting.com is our website.
Also check out the network.
FirearmsRadio.net. You can find all kinds of great podcasts to listen to no matter what your interests are.
Yeah, there's lots. There's a lot. And there's a lot of different types of creators, a lot of bros, a lot of good people.
Yep.
A lot of people that I really genuinely like. So check it out for sure. As always, thanks again. And leave a like, comment, blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. Thanks. See ya.
Do the things.